Early 1990s, Kenya stood at the edge of crisis. The economy had stalled. Growth fell from over 4% in 1990 to almost nothing by 1993. Prices spiraled with a soaring inflation from 12% to 34% in just 3 years. And in the government's books, education, once a national priority, was slashed to less than 7% of spending. The dream of higher education was slipping out of reach. But sometimes history begins not with a great speech, but with a simple cup of tea. A sudden, unexpected call, which turns out to be a call of destiny, not for one man, but for millions. That call went to Professor Chacha Nyaigoti Chacha, at that time college principal, summoned to Nairobi to lead a new experiment, a homegrown solution to finance higher education.
I went to see the peers, and after we said hello, he allowed me to have a cup of tea and then gave me the act. The Gazette notice, which had the printout of the HELB Act plus the appointments of the board members and the CEO, and my name was there. So the PS put me in his boardroom and told me, look at this carefully. We are going to get you the numbers of these board members, telephone numbers. At that time there were no mobile phones, so there were desk telephone numbers. You get hold of all these members and organize a meeting. There is nowhere you are officially given to sit. You can sit in my boardroom and make some decisions. So after I finished looking at it, he told me the decisions you'll make when you meet would be two. One is to open an account, and two is to decide where you'll be operating from.
1995, the Higher Education Loans Board, HELB, is born.
Having put every member of that board to full understanding of the fact that we had been established to manage a portfolio of student loans, and that now the scheme and the practice was going to change from where every student was fully sponsored to where they will have to take loans. So the starting point for HELB was how do you create a database which would collect cumulatively the names of all, because when you read the Higher Education Loans Board law, you will see that we were now given the assets and liabilities of the student loans scheme. And some people had started taking loans from that scheme from early before independence. So we needed to create a system that will start collecting information from wherever that information was, whether it was files which had been closed, whether it was information from university.
Daniel Kagunda joined HELB soon after its founding as a systems analyst and programmer. He reflects on a vision far greater than the space it occupied.
The only 3 desktops that were there could not be used for that work. So they had to hire from University of Nairobi, Chiromo campus. That is where the first data entry was done. So they did there, and then the information would be carried to these 3 desktops which were at a Higher Education Loans Board, and then they would be carried through a diskette.
It was a beginning held together by improvisation and a race against time. Just as HELB was setting up, universities were about to reopen. Thousands of students were waiting, desperate for support.
We would get some statistics that this district, we are expecting like, say, 200 students. So we sent 200 forms to the DC's office so that the student can walk there or travel to that office, pick a form, write it and then either bring physically to Higher Education Laws Board or through post office. And it was a bit difficult because even some handwriting was not legible, and therefore some mistakes would be entered into the system.
But the chaos did not end with applications. Once the forms were in, a greater storm awaited. Universities had reopened. Students were anxious for their loans to be released. But disbursement, largely manual, was slow. And when the money failed to arrive on time, frustration spilled into fury.
During this time, we would be printing the results, and there were only 3 banks which were being used to give the students their loans. KCB, National Bank, I think we were also dealing with Postbank. So we would send the printout to a bank like KCB, and then KCB later on would now also know the branch.
So what they would do is they would get the list and then we would redistribute it to our branches. And in that list it would contain all the names of the beneficiaries. And when you look at what needed to be done, each student needed to have a passbook. So that passbook would be updated at the branch. So you can imagine if you have maybe 200-300 students coming to a branch, let's say you're in head office because Nairobi University was the closest. So you'd find 200,000-400,000 students coming to the branch. So they will not be served all at one go. So you'd have to leave your passbook, then it's taken to the back office, somebody goes through the list, Raphael is getting 5,300 and something, David is getting this much, and they would be updated manually. So it was a long manual process. So after that, they would stick a sticker at the back of the booklet to indicate that this was transacted at our branch, and then they would have a designated nice stamp which would show who was processed and who was posted that transaction.
I can remember an incident whereby the money was not paid and the students came and said that it must be paid, and they had said they will stay here and nobody will move out. There was this printed document, and because that serving was not as fast as they wanted, they grabbed the printout, and in so doing it gets torn, and therefore there was nothing, because now printing again you have to go to Chiromo, but they had to go without the information.
I think they banned my effigy across the country, at Moi University, Maseno, Kenyatta, Nairobi, wherever, Masinde Muliro. They banned my effigy perhaps 40 times. We persisted. We faced the students. I addressed students in their respective universities, some who walked to my office with stones and the rungus. We faced them there, and we told them that this thing is for their own good.
From the beginning, HELB sought to listen, to understand student needs, and to create room for fairness. In 1999, just 4 years after its founding, one of those students was Evelyn Mwikali, a young woman determined to pursue her education, but without sufficient resources to take her through.
I am fortunate to have had the opportunity to practice HR in so many areas, both as an employee, as a consultant. I've worked in the NGO world. I worked with World Vision International for many years in recruitment. And then I transitioned into the UN, where I served for 12 and a half years before I moved to The Hague, where I worked with the International Criminal Court.
Evelyn benefited from the HELB loan from year 1 of her bachelor's course, but the beginning was not smooth.
I applied for a loan in 1999, hoping to join Moi University in 2000, and I got nothing. Zero. Meanwhile, I knew without external help, it was not going to work. So getting a no, like zero, was a bit much to bear. So, but then I didn't give up. So I remember coming here. I appealed. I met two colleagues who were staff at the time here, and they listened to me. So anyway, I went and waited, but finally I got an email notification that they had approved 20,000 for me. At the time, I think that was the minimum. I can't even begin to tell you how much joy and hope receiving that notification gave me. It was like the bridge, between my dreams and my reality. And I knew that now I can focus. And I prayed that it would be consistent, that it would come beyond just that one time. And sure enough, it did.
Evelyn would appeal a second time, and this time her upkeep loan was raised by another 10,000 shillings. That support was sustained throughout her studies, giving her the stability she required to focus on building her future.
I could focus on my studies, and that uncertainty of will I not, was out of the way. So I had peace to focus on studying. And when I look back, I think I would not be where I am today had I not gotten that money.
Evelyn's story, shared by thousands in her time, was proof of what HELB could make possible, turning uncertainty into opportunity. But as more students benefited, a new challenge loomed. For decades, higher education in Kenya had been funded through scholarships and grants. Loans were a relatively new idea, tested unsuccessfully in the 70s and 80s under the student loan scheme. Many beneficiaries, therefore, just did not think about repayment. HELB was pioneering something that Kenya had never done before, recovering the money to create a revolving fund.
When I joined the organization in 1996, we were not structured the way we are structured. We had one department dealing with anything loans, whether it's recovery or lending, just one department. It used to be called Loan Disbursement and Recovery Department. We didn't have even one computer. We were using a mainframe at Chiromo. The only one available, I think, was another one at National Treasury. The mainframe, these are big machines, and only one of us knew how to use it. So we would send him there, he'll go process the data and bring the printout here.
You understand, without a central place of reference for loans given in the past, there was literally almost zero activity on the recoveries. And progressively then, you can see, at that time then we were able to now construct our first database which would aid in recovery. We were recovering an average of 3 million Kenya shillings per month. And that was a lot because it was manual. Yeah, that translates to just about 36 million Kenya shillings per year.
The HELB loan book was growing fast, and so was the number of students seeking support each year. But keeping the revolving fund alive required more than just persistence. It needed structure. One of the most effective milestones was a partnership with employers, turning workplaces into vital partners in repayment and matching growing demand with growing responsibility.
As an employer, we're supposed to remit the payments, but at the same time, it's a relationship where we just make sure we give a seamless service to the people who were beneficiaries of the fund so that they are able to remit those payments on time, and also assist them whenever there are issues that come in between when they're making their payments.
Today, companies like MyDawa carry that responsibility with pride. For them, monthly remittances to HELB are more than just compliance. They are an investment in human capital development and in the promise of equal opportunity.
We have people who come from very marginalized communities and they don't have the same opportunities as people who actually come from well-off families. But having the fund, it means everybody has access to the same education, to the same training, to the same exposure, and everybody now can get developed and get the same opportunities that actually seem out of reach. So take away the fund. How many people will actually go to campus? How many people will go to college? Maybe only people whose parents are able to afford. And then what does that mean to the workforce? It means then you have a very small number of pool to pick the workforce, because we have so many companies that are actually looking for people to hire. From personal experience, not even in my DAWA alone, in other places where I've worked, and I'm very big on compliance. It's one of my specialties, and one of the things that I have seen through my experience, it's actually communication and understanding. If people have a better understanding of the importance of the fund, they are able to know what's actually needed of them.
And repayment itself has become a story of transformation. Thousands of Kenyans who once relied on HELB are now sustaining it, fueling the dreams of a new generation.
We currently have about 460,000 students who are paying 66 billion. These are Kenyans who make me proud because they are the ones who are supporting the current students. Upon repayment of their loan, then we are able to support more Kenyan students who are currently in the universities. And many of them are coming forward to our offices to start repaying their loan. This is transformational. We are not asking them, we are not forcing them. They understand the importance of actually previously being funded and now coming forward to start repaying their loans. That for me is transformation.
The struggles of the 90s and the early 2000s, building almost from scratch, became the foundation for something bigger, an institution powered by systems, driven by data, and anchored in technology.
From the tests we did with Professor Rodriguez and all those computer gurus who were supporting us, we knew that once you put data and control it, you can grow, and that information helps you to manage the communication between the institution and those who require the information.
We went into networking through facilitation by the World Bank back then. So we managed to have the first set of 40 network computers close to floors, that is 19th and 18th.
The networking project led to HELB's first true database, a turning point for both disbursement and recovery.
We've been able to build now what we call a serious portfolio, where we can be able to track anybody by name, by ID, and their contacts comprehensively. I think somebody has mentioned that we now boast of about 1.7 million customers in the database.
That digital backbone has since expanded into a full ecosystem. Online and USSD applications, a refined means testing instrument to ensure equity, employer and loanee portals for seamless remittance and repayment, integration with banks, mobile money and cards, every touch point designed to put the customer first.
We made sure that our clients type very little when they are doing the applications, because we have integrated virtually anybody who has data, a mass of data, be it the government, be it the private sector, so that some aspect you just, once you type in your ID, then information just flows into the system. Again, then we've tried to give convenience to the client, where we just brought in mobility. There is a mobile application and there is a USSD to take care of guys who do not have smartphones. So that is really revolutionary in terms of with a small gadget you can just apply, within seconds you are done with the application.
But these systems were never just about technology, they were about scale. What began as a service for a handful of universities grew into a national lifeline.
At the time we were being established, we had about 5 universities. The number of students that we were looking at then was about 30,000. To date, where we are financing 700,000 students per year. That is really defining that an institution can grow and from financing 30,000 students to 700,000 students within 1 year, and also ensuring that we are supporting students in 79 universities in our country. Not forgetting that also we have been able to support students who are in the East African community, that is Uganda, Tanzania and Rwanda, Kenyans who go there. And that is really defining for our country.
Financing higher education at scale has always been bigger than government alone. To meet rising demand, HELB turned to external resource mobilization, a bold new pillar of growth.
Around 2013-2014, there was an engagement with USAID. USAID wanted to increase the number of health workers in the country, and they wanted to do it sustainably. But initially they thought they could do it through scholarship. In fact, they were targeting 341 scholarships to train middle-level healthcare workers. But when they started the process, they realized that we can scale this up and maybe turn it into a sustainable, arrangement. That's how we started with what we used to call Afya Elimu Fund. So Afya Elimu Fund essentially was the first seed that came in in terms of partnerships, and the institution realized that this is an area that we can grow. So USAID and HELB entered into a partnership. HELB was to be putting in 60 million annually, and USAID was to be putting 15 million annually. Apparently, it was to be a pooled fund that we really worked on it and grew it to around 3.5 by the time USAID was exiting.
A small pilot had turned into proof of concept that external partners could trust HELB to deliver their mission sustainably, as AMREF would soon do for frontline healthcare.
One of the key things we did want to do in the education sector is to increase capacity, specifically for primary healthcare services. And when we looked at that with some of the partnerships that we had, that looked like training more nurses to increase that capacity at the primary healthcare level. So in Kenya, the way the system is tiered, the first point of contact should be at the primary level. And so when we have a capacity gap there, then you realize that this escalates into more serious problems medically. And so that is what then shaped our agenda of increasing capacity, increasing the number of nurses that have education that are stationed within these facilities. And so key being looking at then what are the barriers for having this capacity within these facilities. And one key driver that was mentioned over and over was financing the education. And so that's how we then thought around the partnership together with Johnson & Johnson Foundation. One key thing about grants and the NGO cycles is there's a piece called sustainability. And this sustainability needs some level of local ownership and local systems strengthening. So when we looked at that sector, we realized that, okay, where do most people get their financing for education? Of course, HELB comes up very heavily, and especially because of the rates of interest and that ability to pay after you're employed. So critically looking at that, then it was a selling point. So that reassurance and the professionalism that HELB has maintained from the beginning of this partnership has also led to us then continuing with the partnership different cycles.
HELB's advantage lay in what it already had: a national platform, equity across public and private colleges, and a revolving structure that could outlast donor cycles.
Given at least 329 beneficiaries nursing education loans from various training institutions, at least 33 within the country. And these training institutions are so varied. There's the private sector, there's universities, there's colleges. And so that reach has been very significant. Again, when we were looking at then this partnership, we're looking at a scenario where the fund would then be self-replicating, so that it doesn't ever come to an end. And so the other capacity for then HELB to recover the loans was also a key strategic factor, so that what we have invested as funding can then be self-sustaining in the future.
HELB's external resource mobilization has gone beyond universities and economic sectors into communities like Kwale, where the Kwale School of Integrated Medicine trains health workers to meet urgent local needs.
We are very grateful for the good partnership we are having with HELB, and we are definitely committed to growing our educational fund over the next 30 years and even beyond, because we see already that it is working. As I mentioned before, we have now currently 40 million in the fund, and already almost 7 million has already revolved. So to us, that is already something to be proud of. That is almost 18% which has revolved.
For students like Halima, that revolving fund was the line between a dream deferred and a dream fulfilled.
Nilipoenda high school nikasoma kidato cha kwanza. Baada ya kumaliza kidato cha kwanza, cha pili sikuweza, nilipooza upande mmoja wa kulia, so nikabidi nimedrop masomo, nikawa nyumbani. Katika kipindi hicho bado nikiwa form 2, nikaja nikapata operation ya titi. Baada ya operation nikafail kabisa. They had hopes ya kuwa nitapona, lakini nika collapse kabisa. Lakini thank God nikamaliza na nikajoin University of Nairobi pursuing sociology, and social development. But unfortunately, nilipoanza mwaka wa kwanza baridi tena. Sasa at that time nilikuwa nimeanza kupata nafuu, naweza kutembea, naweza kujisaidia, but unfortunately baridi ya Nairobi ikanirudisha tena chini. Sasa ikawa ni hivyo on and off. Na pia bearing in mind, mimi being the third born, niko na mdogo wangu, alafu we also have other kids yenye wazazi wana raise home. So I had to give them opportunity as well to study, because mimi nikiwa mbele yao walikuja wakanishika. Sasa niliposikia kuhusu community health huku, yani it was a dream come true for me, because what I had in mind was wasome wamalize and then I'll come back later. Because for me, due to the condition, it gave me a lot of opportunities in this world, especially the Ministry of Kwale County Health Department. I really thank them, because they've really supported me and given me so many opportunities that I'm here today. So for me, most of the things, for as much as I needed knowledge and skills development, I had both. Though not all, but I had both. And also, I did have the small finances that I could manage on. HELB gave me a good chance. When I heard about them partnering with Kenya under the revolving fund, it was an opportunity for not only me, but me and some of students in Kwale County who are bright, needy, and have the potential to study and change and make a difference in Kwale County. It's more of an opportunity than a loan.
Over time, these partnerships have grown to include professional bodies linking financing directly to employability.
Kasne Foundation sought out higher education loans board support to be able then to support the students, offer them financial aid, and also manage the process where we have a revolving fund. We award students, we disperse to accredited training institutions, but also they support us to collect back those funds. So this partnership is more of a collaboration to be able to build the fund and again support the students who in the long run will bring in the brand name and also build back the revolving kitty to the repayment.
What has made this possible is HELB's proven system: equitable, transparent, and sustainable.
There's no need for reinventing the wheel. Let's say there are so many partners people out there who would want to support students, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel where you come up with an application process, you come up with a vetting process, you come up with a disbursement process. All that is catered for when you come to HELB, because HELB has been doing this for a very long time. One of the biggest lessons is that if you can sell a dream, and our dream has been empowering students, you'll get more partners. And that has grew us from the one partner that we started with, that is 2013-2014, to now where we have over 47 partners and have mobilized over 4 billion right now. We're speaking about 4 billion. And over 78,000 students have benefited from these funds. When you look at the model that we have put in place, almost 99% of the funding that you get from a partner usually goes to the students or to the beneficiaries.
From years of experience and lessons drawn from global models, HELB is now preparing to tap capital markets to unlock a new frontier in student financing.
So there's a strategy that the board has adopted, which right now is in progress, where we want to venture into the capital markets. At the moment, we're in the process of structuring a bond, which come through like a social bond, in line with by securitizing, our cash flows and see whether we can get big chunks of money. Because if you look at the partnerships we've been getting over time, we've been getting the 1 million, 20 million, 100 million, and 60 million. But I think the demand right now, if you look at the gap that we're having, it's over 30 billion. So it might be difficult to get partners who are going to foot that deficit of 30 billion or 40 billion. But if we believe that if we go the capital market way and maybe float a bond, if we can do that and now as a country start investing in an education bond, I think that is sustainable. And in the long run, that is the only way that we can be able to, ensure that there is universal funding for HELB. Because a couple of years ago, we visited Malaysia and we were able to learn from them. For them, government does not fund the, students financing agency. What they do annually is that the agency goes to the market, floats a bond, and that bond is what is used to finance students. So as long as the market is there, and which will always be there because the pension funds will want to invest and every other agency will want to invest, the funding will always be there.
Partnerships prove that HELB could mobilize billions. But the next frontier is not just funding, it is policy and legislation that can consolidate government bursaries and scholarships into a single, transparent, and sustainable system.
If we look at all the resources that are going to finance education, you are talking of the NGCDF bursaries, you are talking about the bursaries from the Affirmative Action, the Women Fund, you are talking about bursaries given by county governments, on average almost like 500 million each. And we were just wondering if all these resources are put together, maybe that would be the solution.
We have had a presentation to Parliament so that this can be anchored in law and made automatic. We are looking at how this support can be achieved so that we can have the fragmented way in which we are funding education consolidated, higher education consolidated into one pot so that we can be able to support these students and everyone can be able to have a view of how much that student is funded, which area that student is funded, and for what period that student has been funded.
"30 years on, HELB has become more than just a fund. It is a bridge between ambition and opportunity, between talent and national development.
30 years of HELB existence is really 30 years of transformation. 30 years of HELB playing a very significant role in national development, empowering the dreams of young people who want to pursue higher education and very often do not have the resources to do that.
The current government, the manifesto is to provide universal education system where every child is not left behind if they are supposed to be financed. And I can demonstrate we are almost actualizing that universal education system for every child, because our budget capitation was at 18 billion, or thereabouts. Today, as we talk, in 2 years, it's going to 3 years, this has almost doubled. Because we have a budget now, a capitation, we are receiving of about 41.5 billion. So in terms of 2.5 years, we have moved together with the government, we have worked together to make this a reality. And I believe if this continues and we look at alternative sources of funding, I think by 2030, we'll be able to achieve that. I am very confident we'll be able to achieve that.
But to truly reach every learner, Kenya must keep reimagining how it finances higher education, building on progress and unlocking new frontiers.
There is very heavy investment by the private sector in education. That's an easy decision for the private sector to make, as long as we know that the funds will go towards the desired end through PPPs. And we need a legal foundation to be able to do that and attract resources from private sector to be able to invest in education and in skills development. And that requires support to the private sector through incentives such as tax rebates, recognizing institutions that give money towards education.
For 3 decades, HELB has proven that financing higher education transforms not just students, but the nation. The next chapter is clear. Unlock new funding opportunities, pass relevant legislation, grow partnerships, because when every dreamer has a chance, Kenya's future has no limits.
Higher Education Loans Board, empowering dreams.